Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Thank you to everybody tuning in to another episode of the Digipreneur FM podcast. And as usual, it is your boy, none other than Mr. Rose. DJ, you've been with us for far too long. Cut the music off. You know we gotta talk to the people. You know we gotta talk to the people. My goodness. Sorry, DJ had a little mix up there, but it's all good, man. It is Saturday, December 14th, and this is episode number 178. Ladies and gentlemen of the Digipreneur FM family all across the world, how are you doing today? How are you doing? My goodness, always a pleasure to be here with you doing our thing, man. Let's start off by, giving your boy a big happy birthday. Oh, shoot. Yeah, this week was my birthday. Cheers to 38. My birthday was on December 10th. And I decided to spend the week in the beautiful country of Vietnam. And it sounds so weird saying that because, let's be honest, how many of you have Vietnam on your list to go to, right? Usually it's not even a country that you really, at least from a Western perspective, it's not really a country that you really think of going to. And for the most part, we don't, what do we really hear about Vietnam? We know about Pho, we know about the Vietnam War, and that's really about it. But my goodness, have I been seeing the most amount of amazing scenery, just the most amount of amazing things to do inside of Vietnam. And one of the main reasons why I even came to Thailand was the accessibility to other countries and, this really affordable travel. And that's not something that I've ever been able to experience in my life, because in Canada, to travel, even within Canada, is expensive. Like to go to there, most times it's cheaper to go to the States than to other provinces in Canada. And it's also, many times, it's also cheaper to fly to the Caribbean than it is to go to other parts of Canada. So I, never really gave too much of a damn to go to other parts of Canada. Just because, why am I spending the same amount of money to go fly to the Caribbean, to go and then fly to Saskatchewan or fly to British Columbia? I've never really had interest in going to different parts of Canada. Outside of Toronto, maybe if I was living somewhere else, I would want to come to Toronto. But living in Toronto, never really cared to go anywhere else outside of our province. Other cities in Ontario, no problem, but never really. Montreal, cool, but never really cared to go to the other parts of Canada. It just wasn't for me, right? Just wasn't for me. That's all good, though. That's all good. So the fact that I'm now in a place where, travel is affordable, you already know the Caribbean, traveling throughout the Caribbean, you might as well go fly to Europe because it's the same goddamn price, right? So the ability to now just kind of tap into affordable travel was definitely one of the reasons why I decided to come to Thailand in particular, because Thailand is especially Bangkok, It's kind of like Miami. It's like Panama, where it's a hub. So, you have flights coming in from all over the world, and it's a good place for, again, affordable travel. So I went to Vietnam, spent a week out there, just got back last night, and it rained every single day. If you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I was sharing throughout my stories, it rained like every single day. And then I come to find out it's their rainy season. I went to the beach city of Da Nang. And when you see what they're trying to do over in Da Nang, Da Nang is kind of looking like it's looking like South Beach before South Beach got like popping, where all the infrastructure is being built. Listen, it's condos, it's hotels, the beachfront, the beachfront that they have been building out. You can see the vision of what they're trying to build, and it's coming together beautifully. And they just have so much to offer. And then they've been named the most affordable country in the world for the second year straight. So just imagine you're gonna get like South Beach kind of vibes, but 80% cheaper, right? So that's where that is going. And I really, really think that in the next couple of years, it's going to be really interesting because, again, there's so much construction happening. And it's just a beautiful place. I'm sorry that I came during. I'm sorry my birthday was during the wet season, so I was inside the majority of the time, and the things that I had planned I wasn't able to do. But again, it didn't cost me much. It cost me like 140 US round trip to go there and come back. It's less than a 2 hour flight, So we'll do it again. We'll do it again when it's a dry season, so I could actually do the things that I had planned and really wanted to do. But today, what are we diving into on today's episode? I feel like I have so much content that I've just been sitting on because I've just been relaxing for this year, especially the second half of the year. But I know that my time to relax is coming to an end, and coming into January, it's time to turn up. And I've just been collecting a lot of ideas, writing everything down, just getting my mind right, because I know once I turn this monster back on, it's not going back in the bag for a long, long time. Which brings me to today's topic. Today's topic is the pros and cons, my pros and cons. Let me put that out there. My pros and cons of living in Thailand. It's been one of the questions that I've gotten asked a lot, and I think it's a great time to kind of dive into that. The end of this month, the end of December. Matter of fact, oh my God, I now realize the date, December 14th. It just clicked, right? But next week Saturday would be my third month in Thailand. You see how time flies? Right? Next week, Saturday, would be my third month in Thailand. So I think it's a perfect time to talk about, what are some of my pros and cons that I have picked up or seen during my time here thus far. And I also have, and I'll do this probably for the next episode. We'll see how that goes. But about 2 weeks ago, I had asked everybody online, if you have questions about Thailand, give me your questions. And I had recorded the episode. I actually recorded the video, and I recorded it as a podcast as well. But I just never edited. I never edited it and put it together. So I'll probably edit it this week and get it out there for the next episode. We'll see how that goes. But I was also thinking about I might reshoot it. I don't know. Leave me alone. I'm going to get it done, though. I'm going to get it done. But today we're going to be talking about my pros and cons. It's been one of the main things that people keep asking me on a daily basis. I get a lot of emails, people who have been kind of following my journey. They're hearing a lot more about Thailand. Thailand was crowned yet again the most visited country in the world. They've welcomed the most visitors in the world for the second year straight. So again, people are they're seeing Thailand popping up a lot. And then as of 3 months ago, the visa restrictions for Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Dominica got dropped. So those three countries in the Caribbean now can come across visa free, 60-day stamp as soon as you touch down. If you want to extend it for another 30 days, you can do that, right? So the pros and cons. I'm going to start with my cons first because my cons is actually a pretty short list. And I need to preface this conversation by reminding you that this is my opinion. This is how I feel. This is what I am seeing, right? So you can't come for me. You cannot come for me. You cannot, you cannot put down or disregard anything I'm saying. I'm telling you that these are my thoughts. This is my feeling. This is what I am seeing on a day-to-day, right? I got to put that out there because, boy, you put things out on social media and you just watch people's comments and you're like, Lord have mercy. If I could tap you, if I could just invent something to just tap you to the screen, I'd tap you to the screen. Remember when Soulja Boy wanted to kiss you through the phone? I want to tap you through the screen. That's what I want to do half the time when I read somebody's comments, but you know how it goes. You know how social media goes, right? So the cons, the cons are pretty short. And I also will say this before I get into it. One of the reasons why the cons list is short is because you have to understand that we put people that decide to make the move, wherever they decide to make the move to, they put, or at least I hope, I know for me, and this is what I did, you put so much energy into researching the countries, to figure out what is going to give you what you want, right? And when you find that country where the pros far outweigh the cons, you make the move. So and this is another reason why I wanted to do this. So as much as people keep asking about the pros and cons, the other part of the conversation is people will jump in the comments and be like, oh, they only ever highlight the good stuff. They never tell you about the bad stuff. You also have to keep in mind that people do so much research into finding the places that they want to move to. And 9 out of 10 times, they're not moving to places that the cons list is going to be high up on the list for them. Unless that person moved because of a job and they had no choice. If you have all of the freedom in the world to choose the countries you want to move to, you are looking for the countries where your pros list is going to be 95% much bigger than the cons list. So when I see people say, oh, they don't ever tell you about the cons, why don't you stop and think that people have spent so much time and energy researching the countries they want to move to? So the cons list might not be that big or might not be that serious. You think that there has to be more, there has to be more cons. Maybe for you, like if you were to visit or you moved and you realize, no, this isn't for me. And that's because everybody is different. Everybody wants different things of life. So my cons list so far, almost 3 months in, isn't big because I've done so much research into choosing my destination that I'm getting everything that I want. And so far, it's, Thailand has been as advertised. And putting together my cons list was actually a struggle. Like I had to go to the mountaintop, i.e. my rooftop pool, and I had to go lay down in our sky bed, and I had to think. I had to look at the city of Bangkok and think, what are the cons for me? Right? You're gonna have to come up with your own cons. But what are the cons for me? And I took a lot longer to write down my cons than my pros. So I'm just prefacing the conversation by saying it out there and putting that out there because I need you to understand that. I need you to soak that part in, right? So let's get into it. Big man, what are your cons? What are my cons? Con number one, and I think this is the biggest con. The biggest con is the visas, right? You need to spend, if you're looking to move to Thailand in particular, right? Again, every country is different, but if you're looking to move to Thailand, you are going to have to sit down and go through the visas and really, really look at the visas, weigh the pros and cons of the different types of visas, and then figure out what's going to make the best, what's going to make the most sense for you. So you have things like the educational visas. Originally, I was going to do the educational visa. The visa is a 1-year visa that you can keep on renewing, and you can go and learn Thai. You can learn to speak Thai and get a visa. You can learn Muay Thai, the combat sport. I was going to do that. You could learn Muay Thai and get an education visa. You can learn Thai massage because they're very popular for Thai massage. And you could learn Thai cooking. Those are some of the ways that you can get an educational visa. It's a 1-year visa. And again, you have to look at the pros and cons of that. The biggest pro to the education visa, it's the easiest one to get. There's a lot of different schools that will help you out to get the education visa. It's the cheapest visa to get. And you also, I believe, and again, don't quote me on this because I was researching this like 4 or 5 months ago at this point, right? But you also have to, I think like every 90 days, no, we have to report. We have to, let me not say anything wrong because like I said, I was researching this like 4 or 5 months ago, and I decided I wasn't going to do it the education visa, so I stopped looking at it. But the education visa is the cheapest one to get. It's the easiest one to get. You do need to look at what are the commitments that you have to uphold in order to maintain that visa. One of the things is if you're doing the education visa and you're deciding to learn Thai, the immigration officers, whenever you leave or whenever you do your 90-day check-ins, the immigration officers reserve the right to test you, right? So they could just start, having a Thai conversation with you to see how you're coming along, and that could be grounds for them declining your education visa. So there's that. Then and again, I wanted to do Muay Thai, so I was like, wait a minute, they're testing your knowledge for Thai speaking. Is Jun Tao going to bring me to the back and give me some gloves and say, square up? How are we going to test my Muay Thai capabilities? Are we going to spar? And if I lose, I get kicked out of the kingdom? Is that what's going to happen? I joke, but I'm dead serious. I was like, yo, how are they testing my Muay Thai capabilities, right? For cooking, who knows? They might pull you to a room and say, yeah, deal with some Tom Yum right now. Deal with some Pad Thai right now, Cook up something. Massage, I could see, again, if they're testing you on the education, they might test you on the other things, right? So you have to so the education visa is the easiest one to get. Then you have the LTR, the long-term residency. You have the elite visas, and those are long-term visas, like 10. You could do like 10-year, 20-year, 30-year visas, but they're expensive, right? You really have to spend some money to get those things. So it's not easily accessible for any and everybody because of how much it costs. So when they announced the new Destination Thai Visa, the DTV, when they announced that in July, it was like the perfect visa because it's a 5-year visa. It cost me 650 Canadian to apply for the visa online from Trinidad. I had to apply through the e-visa website. My application got routed through the Canadian Embassy in Ottawa. They processed the application, and anybody applying for the DTV in the Caribbean, your applications get routed to the Thai Embassy in Ottawa, Canada. So it cost me 650 Canadian to apply for the visa. You also had to show that you had the equivalent of 14,000 US dollars in your bank account to apply. Again, you just had to show proof that you had it in your bank account. And then, that was it, right? You got a 5-year visa. So I did all that. The entire process took 2 weeks. I got granted, and I think like 2 weeks later, I was on a plane and I came down to Thailand. So you have to look at the visas and really see what makes the most sense for the DTV. So all the visas, no, not all of them. I think the LTR and the elite visas are a little bit different, right? But the education visa and the DTV visa, you have to do 90-day check-ins with immigration. So on they have a website, and I just learned about the website today. Prior to me learning about the 90-day check-in website, I was under the impression that all of us had to go in person to immigration to do a 90-day reporting just to continue to let the Thai officials know, hey, we're still in Thailand and where you're living. And it's a 90-day check-in you do every 90 days, right? That's for the government to keep track of all the foreigners that are staying here long term. So you could do that online. Great, because John knows I wasn't trying to spend, half a day in immigration going through that. Part of the reason why I went to Vietnam is because my 90 days is this week, right? So I'm like, you know what? If once you leave and you come back, your 90-day check-in is going to reset. But then with the DTV visa, how it works is that they give you a 6-month stamp to be in the country. So you're eligible to be in here for 6 months at a time. It's a 5-year visa, but you get stamped in for 6 months. At the 6-month point, it's kind of like another check-in. So you have to go to the immigration office. If you want to extend for another 6 months, you can do that. Or it's a multi-entry visa. You can come and go as you please. And every time you leave and you come back in, they give you a fresh new 6-month stamp. So again, part of the reason why I decided to go to Vietnam. In the event that I decided to just go to immigration and get another 6 months, another 6-month stamp, you can do that. But what happens is the entire you get 360 days off of the stamps that you could be eligible in Thailand. When you get to the 360-day mark, if you have not left Thailand, like you've been here for the whole entire time, after you get that first 6-month extension, it's 180 days at a time, right? So you come in. I don't want to just say 6 months. When you come in, they're giving you a stamp that's equivalent to 180 days. So 360 days is what you're allowed to spend in Thailand on the DTV visa. And then obviously there's 365 days. What happens is after you get that first extension for another 180 days, you then have to leave Thailand or do a border run and then come back in, right? So you can go to Laos, Cambodia. Man, you just go to any company that does a visa run and they could do a visa run, bring you to a border, bring you right back. There's a multitude of ways to do it. I won't get into that today. But the point is, the visas require you to really sit down and look at all of the pros and cons of each visa to see what makes sense for you. For me, the DTV was the best. 5 years, you get to do 360 days in total before you have to do a border run, leave and come back. Or if you're planning on traveling, you're probably never going to have to do that extension. So just like how I left, I went to Vietnam. Great, I got another 6-month stamp, right? My 3-month check-in reset itself as well. And now that I know you can do the 3-month check-in online, even better, right? I don't got to spend time in immigration to do the 3-month check-in. So that's a con because it does require some work. I mean, it's not really a con, but it is a con because, like I said, every visa has their pros and cons, and you have to really look and see what's going to make sense for you. The second con on the back of the visa situation is that this is one of the biggest cons. This is probably the biggest con for Thailand. There's no true path to permanent residency in Thailand. So even though you could get a long-term visa, you can get a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year visa, you're still going to be on a visa. From what I have seen, the people who have been here for like 20 years and longer, I haven't seen anybody speak about how they were able to get permanent residency. Because even if you marry a Thai woman, you would then be on a marriage visa. You still don't even get permanent residency, right? There is a way to get permanent residency, but because it's difficult, and nobody's ever really gotten it. You just don't really hear anybody talking about, permanent residency. I think I've seen like one story so far of somebody, of a foreigner getting it, but again, more often than not, no. You just have long-term visas, and you follow the rules of your visas. And I think a part of that they do that is because they want to ensure that Thai citizens get all of the rights to Thailand, right? And that's fine. We're guests in their countries. We're guests in their country. They want to ensure that Thai people always remain on top and get all of the benefits because the cost of living is so affordable. They do this because if it was easy to get permanent residency, then people with money would just come to Thailand and just buy up all of Thailand, and then what's left for the Thai people, right? So from that perspective, I get it, but it is a con because if you are somebody that's saying to yourself like you want to live in Thailand long term, like you want to make this your home, you want to make this your forever home, then you're really, really going to have to figure out a plan. For me, 5 years is good. I'm personally thinking to myself, I do 5 years in Thailand in May, and after that, I probably might do another country. That's my thinking right now. But again, 5 years is still a long time, so we'll see how that looks 5 years from now. Who knows? I might pick up a little Ling Ling. Me and Ling Ling might hook up and get married, and all of a sudden, I'm not leaving Thailand. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know crystal ball here. So we'll see, right? But for me right now, 5 years is perfect because I can do a lot in 5 years, and we'll see how I feel after the 5 year period, right? So no path or very slim path to permanent residency is definitely a con for anybody who's not Thai or anybody, coming to make Thailand their forever home. The third con is, some of you might not say this is a con, but it can be a con. Affordability of Thailand can lead to overspending. Oh my goodness. When have you ever even heard of that being a problem? We've never had that problem. Like, when have you ever lived somewhere where it was so affordable you might spend more money because it's so affordable? Certainly not in Canada. Certainly not in the Caribbean. Certainly not in the US. Certainly not in the UK. Things not just affordable in these countries to a point where you're overspending. Yo, madness, right? But when you're traveling, when you're doing things like, just regular ride share. You do Uber in Canada and the US, you jump in the car, it's already clocking 25 US. You know what I mean? But here, I could jump on a taxi, on a motorcycle taxi, and I could go 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away, and spend $1.50 on that ride. You go to places to go and eat, and you can eat your belly full, and you might have spent 10 US. If you want to be cheap, when I use Grab has a section, there's a filter that says meals under 80 baht, right? And just for point of reference, 80 baht to US dollars is $2.34. So there is an entire menu, a whole entire filter on Grab where you can click and you have access to all of these meals. And we're talking proper meals. We're talking pad thai. You're talking rice and chicken. You're talking pork. Like, you're talking a wide variety of meals for $2.34 US. So it's easy to overspend because of the affordability, right? So when you're out here, you really have to watch your money because, the $1 beers can add up. The $2 meals, they can all add up, and you could just go buck wild crazy, and before you know it, you're like, yo, where did my money go? And you realize you just spent a lot because it was so affordable. So it's on the cons list, but if you have discipline, then it's not going to be a con, right? So to me, it's something that it's not necessarily a con, but I have it on my list because I really, really have to monitor my spending because it's easy to get carried away, right? Look, I went Vietnam, 175 US round trip. Might have even have been cheaper. Might have even been cheaper than 175 US. And then I got a hotel, a beachfront hotel for like 130 US. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why you want a partner out here, because if you have a partner out here and both of y'all are making money, things just even cheaper. Things just even cheaper. My God, I need to go find a girl, yes, because I want things to be even cheaper. Let's keep it moving. Next con on my list. Now, this is definitely something that I'm observing, is that the air quality in Bangkok is not good. All right, the air quality in Bangkok is not good. You got to pay attention to that. So if you're somebody that has really bad allergies, or you come here and you realize, oh my God, the smog, I can't breathe. But keep in mind, a lot of our main cities in the U.S. and well, not so much Canada, but in the U.S. and other places in the world, have really bad smog, right? So you might, like, if you're in Cali, it's the same thing, right? So there's a lot of cities around the world that suffer from really bad smog. Smog, unfortunately, is a big thing here in Bangkok, so something you got to pay attention to. For me, the it doesn't bother me, but what does bother me is that because of the smog, there's never really a true sunny day in Bangkok. Like, you rarely get true sunny days, because when you go outside and there's always a kind of a haze. So it still looks it still looks kind of like, dimly lit kind of vibe. You don't really get sunny days like that. When I go to Phuket and PP Islands and I go down south, I hear it's a lot better down there. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, right now in Bangkok, a lot of haze, so you don't get true sunny days. So that's another, con on the list for me. And last but not least, this is not so much of a con. Like I said, I really had to struggle to get my cons, but it's not really a con for me, but I get it. And this is the language barrier. Again, this is my list, so I'm not really trying to regurgitate what other people are saying, but the language barrier is it a problem? Sometimes. Sometimes. Technology has really been the greatest equalizer. If we did not have things like Google Translate, Google Maps, I probably wouldn't even be here. Because then at that point, language barrier would have kicked my ass. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. I wouldn't have been able to just, pick up and just go places. But because of things like Google Translate, and everybody here is versed at using Google Translate, you don't really have much of a language barrier when you're communicating with people. Almost all of the applications have built-in translations anyway, so again, there's no mix-up, right? And even when, like, somebody calls me, like if I order something and a driver calls me, I hate to see when they call me, because I'm like, I don't know they can't speak English. And I pick up the phone and I'm just like, yo, message. And they're like, okay. And they jump in the message and they message you. They're speaking in Thai via message. I'm using Google Translate and we're communicating and everything gets done, right? So the technology has really been a great equalizer, and we're seeing things getting better. So like the Google Pixel Buds are able to translate or do live translation. So you have your buds in and people are talking to you and it could translate for you directly in your ears. I think that's pretty dope. I just seen this, but this is not so much for language, but I think this is going to happen in the very near future. There was a glasses that has been designed for deaf people, right? And the glasses for deaf people, they put them on, and people that are talking to them, obviously they can't hear. The glasses are doing a live transcription on the glasses itself. So the person in front of them is speaking, they can't hear nothing, but the entire transcription is happening on their glasses. I can see that happening for language. Somebody's speaking to you, and you're just seeing the live transcription in front of you. I think that would be dope. Again, I say this to say that technology is a great equalizer, And I think we're going to be close. I think we're very close. I think we're maybe I think we're maybe less than 5 years away. 2 to 5 years. I think we're 2 to 5 years away from the language barrier not being an issue at all. Because I think that either the glasses are going to come and start doing transcriptions. I think the Pixel Buds are going to be so amazing to the point where they're not missing a thing, and you're going to be able to hear. And then people are going to be able to now use little speakers or whatever the case is to kind of respond back to the person, and the speaker will give back the information in that person's native tongue. But I believe we are 2 to 5 years away from we no longer have a language barrier, because we're going to have an amazing amount of electronics that are going to be your own personal translator. And yeah, we're already seeing it, and we're seeing where that's going. So is the language barrier really a problem for me? Like I said, sometimes, but it's not enough for me to be like, oh man, this is killing me. It rarely happens, but it happens, but it rarely happens. And I think the more you learn how to use your Google Translate, how to use the translation within the applications that you are using when you are, doing your day-to-day stuff, I think that's definitely going to go a long way for you. Okay? That's my list of cons. That's what I had to go to the mountaintop and really sit down and think about what these cons are. Right? You know what? For shits and gigs, I'll throw in. This is not even a con. This is just somebody. People are going to be like, "What about the ladyboys?" And they're going to expect me to be like, that has to be a con, because I see a lot of people commenting, "Oh, ladyboys, ladyboys, ladyboys." Let me tell you something. The reason why ladyboys is not a con for me, not that I have any interest in ladyboys, but the reason why it's not a con for me is because it's culturally accepted here. So nobody hides, right? Nobody's trying to deceive you. They're not bothering you. No ladyboy has ever approached me. No ladyboy is trying to hit on you. No one's trying to deceive you. And the best part is that because it's culturally accepted here, when you ask somebody, are you a ladyboy? They straight up tell you, yay or nay, right? They don't need to lie about it because it's accepted. It's part of the culture. So nobody lies about it, which I think is amazing. So y'all can have all the ladyboys y'all want, all right? Y'all can, the surgeons can win a Nobel Peace Prize so that you can look as much of a woman as possible. The beauty of it is, if you ask somebody, they will say yes or no. But then too, you see it so much where now I'm like 80% good at telling a ladyboy from a regular normal woman. And it's because there's just some things you can't change. Like, you can't change the broad shoulders. You can't change the no hips. You can't change the friggin' somebody's when you're doing all the surgery, you see when you just look so made up. I'm like, ladyboy immediately. When you just look like your whole face has been constructed, because women, especially Thai women or Asian women, their features are very soft. So when you come out with your features look like they were chiseled out of by Zeus, you already know something's up, right? So anyways, point is, you don't even have to guess if you're talking to somebody or one of them are talking to you, and you don't even know, or you're unsure. Maybe you are under the alcohols, or you're under the weeds because weed is legal out here. Just ask, ladyboy. No, ladyboy. Ladyboy? Uh-huh, yes, ladyboy. You like ladyboy? No. And you keep it moving, right? So you don't gotta hide. You don't gotta feel ashamed. If somebody's talking to you and you're unsure, you could always ask. And I think that's great. So that's why the ladyboy culture here is not a con for me, because I'm not bothering them. They're not bothering me, all right? Let's get to my pros. My pros, quality of life. So as someone who works remotely, being able to handpick a country where you're earning a higher currency and the cost of living is so much lower, here in Thailand, and again, a lot of these other countries as well, being able to earn a higher currency, live in an economy where it's more affordable, your money goes a long way, right? Your money goes a long way. So you really get to now pick what type of lifestyle do you want. Do you want to keep it simple? Do you want to live luxurious? You really have flexibility in crafting the type of life you want, giving yourself the quality of life that you want, right? So you guys know, if you watch me on my socials, I will go to a massage whenever on earth I feel to. If I want to go to a nice fancy restaurant or a cafe or jump on a plane and go spend a week in Vietnam, like, you can do that, right? You have the ability to really create the type of lifestyle that you want. People look at my videos of me showing my condo and they're like, too small, I wouldn't live there. People need to also understand that this wasn't my first choice, second choice, third choice. This was like my 15th choice, right? And I just wanted to get into a place like immediately because I had moved and I had to start work and I needed to get into a place. And a lot of the places that I had bookmarked to come and check were gone by the time that I got here. But I've gone into that story many a time, right? But the one big pro about living in my condo is 28 square meters, and I picked this condo because I love the amenities, right? So I'm always using my amenities. I got caught snoring in the rooftop pool, sleeping on the bed, right? I use the onsen a lot. I go to the gym. I use the co-working. Like, I use all the amenities, right? So even though my condo is 29 square meters, the smaller unit also allows me to live more of a minimalistic lifestyle. Like, I don't pack. I just have never felt the urge to spend all this money packing my place with things, right? So I think that's also good. And then the unit comes fully furnished, down to brand new spoons and forks and bowls and glasses. Landlord even gave me brand new towels. Like, I didn't have to buy nothing when I came here. That's the type of quality of life that we're talking about, right? So you can spend, and I've said this before, if you want to get an apartment unfurnished, you can get apartments for as low as 20 US a month. You can get apartments for 100 US a month, for 50 US a month, a variety of different size apartments. I'm seeing people with some big ass apartments and they're paying like 100 US. Come on. You're not getting that in the West. And then condos start from 190 US. You can decide for yourself, do you want to get a new condo in a very popular area? You can get a studio condo, small studio unit, and you can spend 200 US in a popular area and get a studio apartment if it's an amazing area that you want to be in. Or you could live in an area that's away from the heart of the city, and you can get an older condo and you can go and spend 200 US and get a big ass 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment for 2, 3, 400 US. You have those options, right? So depending on where you live, the options are going to be very different. So for me, I live literally about 10 to 15 minutes away from like downtown. Like, I'm just on the outskirts. So I'm not in the thick of the things, but I'm very close to it. So if I want to get to downtown, if I want to get to a bar, if I want to go to a club, whatever the case is, it's very easy for me to either jump in a Grab and go there or jump in the train and go there. But there's a wide variety of ways to knock about, right? So the quality of life and having the flexibility to create the lifestyle you want, it's a freedom that many of us don't have, because a lot of us in the West that are creating the lifestyles that they want, it's very expensive. You're taking out your mortgages, you're taking out your car notes, you're spending a lot of money because you're probably living hours away from downtown or hours away from work. And the cost of living is just expensive, right? So it's a lot easier to create a life that you want because of the affordability of the country, right? So that's a huge, huge one. And I love the fact that whatever type of lodging you want or whatever type of accommodations you want, you have that available. You want condo, great, you can get that. You want to pay 500 US for a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, you can do that. Again, I've showed you guys that on my social medias, right? So all of those things are available for you. Next pro, safety. Crime in Thailand is very low. It's probably more white collar crime, but violent crime is very low. Last year, Thailand's population is about 74 million people, and Thailand had 175 homicides for the entire year for the size of a country. That's great. Talking to women here, women say this is the safest country they've ever been in. Colored women, black women, Indian women, just women of color said this is the safest country they've ever been in. Safest country they've ever been in. They could be outside at 4 o'clock in the morning to go and exercise, or they could be coming home from the club at 2 o'clock in the morning and no one's harassing them. They feel safe. And I think that's the most telling about the safety aspect, when your woman feels safe. All right? If your woman feels safe, chances are it's a pretty safe country. So safety is another big pro. Next pro is the things to do. There's always something to do. Regardless of the day, regardless of the time, there's always something to do. And it's in every category. If you want restaurants, if you want clubs, if you want bars, if you want tourism, if you want tourist attractions, like if you want scenery, if you want getaways, if you want to be on a beach, Thailand has jungle, Thailand has rice field, Thailand has rural, Thailand has some of the best beaches in the entire world. Thailand has the most visited city in the world, Bangkok. Whatever your vibe is, whatever you want, there's always something to do and there's always something for you, right? Shopping. If you're big on shopping, I swear to God, Bangkok has the most malls per capita I've ever seen in my life. And if you want luxury shopping, great. If you want artisan shopping, great. If you want to do thrift shopping, you want secondhand goods, great. If you want the most amazing knockoffs I've ever seen in my life, you have that too. So you have whatever you desire, right? You have whatever you want, whatever you desire, and whatever your budget is, it's accommodating that, right? So there's that. Next pro, food. And not just some of Thai cuisine is rated as like top 3 cuisines globally, right? Thai cuisine is rated top 3 globally in terms of their cuisine, but the affordability of the food. So like I said before, if you want to spend $2 on a whole entire meal, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to spend 70 cents on a meal, you can do that. You can go to any one of the local cafes or any one of the smaller spots, like the straight up Thai spots, and these people are spending next to nothing. Like, let me see. I'm seeing people going and getting a pad krapao for 50 baht, which is $1.40 US dollars. So you can get meals for next to nothing. And I've showed you when I go to You Hunt We Cook and I spend 30 US for a week's worth of dinners prepared for me by a chef with all of the ingredients included in them cooking it. So all that's included as well. So food, you have some of the best cuisine in the world. There's food everywhere. You have high-end dining, you have affordable dining, you have the local spots. You can get whatever it is that you want at whatever price point that you were looking for. And that's a big, big, big pro. And then if you're somebody that likes to do your own cooking, well, because Thailand grows the majority of the things that they consume here, you're getting a lot of fresher goods at even cheaper prices that you can bring home and do your own cooking. So you have that ability as well. Okay. Next big pro is that countries like Thailand in particular, and other countries in Asia and eastern part of Europe and South America, but we're talking in the context of Thailand, the country's doing their best to bring in foreigners, and there are a lot of things catering to them. So if they understand that the most profitable visitor is a long-term visitor, It is a digital nomad. So digital nomads are highly, highly sought after for countries now because they don't take away any of the local resources. They are only an addition to the country. So they come here, they're not allowed to work for local companies. They're, again, but if you're a digital nomad, you already have a job or you have a business and you're working remotely and you're bringing all of your money into the country. All the money you are bringing in, and you are spending all of your money here, right? That's a big, big pro because, again, the fact that this is a plan, the goal for them is to constantly try to cater to the long-term visitor, to entice them, to bring them here. And because of that, it's creating bigger and bigger expat communities. And I really feel like in the next 5 years, Bangkok is going to kind of feel like a Toronto, a New York in terms of the diversity, because you're already seeing it. Like if you go into a lot of the expat hotspots, like if you go to downtown in Asok or in Phnom Chit, if you go downtown, you're going to see a lot of expats. You're going to hear a lot of different languages. You're going to see people from all over the world living here and visiting here. So there's a very huge expat community in Bangkok, in Chiang Mai, in Phuket, in Koh Samui, you name it. There's big expat communities. So now you're not alone. Like you're not the person feeling like, oh man, it's just me. I've met a lot of people here already, and we do have a growing Caribbean diaspora here in Thailand as well. So there's the opportunities to meet people from around the world, meet people from different cultures. You're not just going to be stuck trying to learn Thai in order to fit in. Now, learning Thai is going to be good because then you could really assimilate and I mean, it's just more culture for you, right? And you could really assimilate and you're going to be able to do more things because you understand the language. So that's one of my goals for next year is to start taking some Thai classes so I could really, get the best out of my Thai experience, right? But yeah, the expat community is growing. There's more and more people that are coming here from different parts of the world. So there's a lot of people for you to meet and a lot of things for you to do. So I've joined some groups, I've gone to some events, and I've been having a great time. Next pro is the convenience. So the convenience of Thailand, everything is a click away. Down to the 7-Eleven across the street from me. If I don't want to cross the street, I can jump in the 7-Eleven app and I could order everything and they jump in the buggy and bring it across the street. Yeah. The washing machines, drying machines. So my unit doesn't have a washer dryer, so I could either go downstairs. There's an app for our washers and I could utilize the app to work the machines, or I can just cross the street and give all my laundry to my laundry lady and check her back the next day. And all my laundry's washed, folded, sealed. She gives it back, and I just got to pack it away. So every week and a half, I cross the street to give her my laundry. Within 24 hours, she don't play. Within 24 hours, you have all your laundry back, washed, folded, and you just got to go and pack it away. And I don't spend, I think the most I've ever spent for like the biggest load of laundry that I've done was $11 US. That was the biggest load I've ever done. Cost me $11, 11 US. On average, I spend about 8 US to do about a week's worth of laundry. And yeah, I'm fine with that. I am perfectly fine with that because, again, it just saves me time. It saves me time. I just give everything. She does everything. I pack it away and I keep it moving. So I will pay for that convenience because I like that, right? So that's a big one. That's definitely a big one. The convenience factor of Thailand. Everything is a click away. Everything is within your vicinity. There's a 7-Eleven on every freaking corner. So whatever you need, they usually have. Grocery stores are close. My condo has a shuttle service at no cost to you. There's a gym on the compound. We have a private onsen. We have a steam room. We have co-working spaces. We have a big kitchen, a private kitchen that you can book where you can entertain guests. Everything is just right there, convenient for you. Everything. Even when I'm using the shuttle service, again, it's free, and the shuttle service will bring us to the SkyTrain station, which is like 2 minutes away. It brings you over there, And this guy train station also has the closest supermarket, massive supermarket at that, and it's a bit of a plaza. All of these different stores and booths all around it. So that's a 2 minute away. Just jump in the shuttle, and the shuttle works 7 days a week, pretty much from like I think like 7 a.m. to like 9 or 10 p.m. Something crazy like that, right? But again, all of that is all a part of the rent that you're paying. So even though people will be like, "Oh, your place is too small and you're spending money. No, your place is too small." Understand that it's not just the place. Like you're spending money for all of these things. You're spending money on the amenities. You're spending money on the services that they provide for you. To me, for me, this was like the perfect place because I'm not going to be here after my first year. I'm not going to be here. I know the game better now, so I'm going to get something cheaper. And I'm going to get something bigger, but I would have the time to really lock something in. Whereas when I came, I didn't know better. I was rushing. I was kind of under pressure because I came, I had a list of places I wanted to check out, and then I'm going through the list and I realize everything's already gone, and time is ticking because I had a couple of days before I had to start working, and because I have to set up all my equipment, I didn't want to be setting up in a hotel, and I didn't want to go through all that, right? Matter of fact, my equipment suitcase, I had it wrapped. I had it saran wrapped. I didn't even want to bust that until I had moved, right? So again, you know better for next time. And from what I have seen from all the creators who have been here prior, most people did not get exactly what they wanted the first year. They kind of just took what was available to them at the time they had moved. But then second year and onwards, they usually get everything that they want because you have more time to look and you know exactly what you're looking for and where you want to live and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, the convenience is unmatched. It's unmatched here. So I definitely, that's definitely one of the biggest pros. Whatever you want, it's there for you. And the last pro that I will have on this list for now, I'll probably do this again in a couple of months. But the last pro that I will add is that there's lots and lots of international schools for your kids. So if you're somebody who wants to move with children, if you want to move with your family, there is tons and tons of international schools that are popping up, and you can get any curriculum that you want. If you want a Canadian curriculum, the US curriculum, the Australian curriculum, they have every single curriculum here in Thailand. There is international schools all over the place. You just have to go and find which is the best fit for you and your family. There's tons of international schools to bring your kids to. The education is amazing. I've gone to a bunch of these schools as well, just helping a friend try to find a job. And I'm seeing the facilities and I'm like, I would send my kids here because these primary schools got basketball courts, tennis courts, they got pools to swim. They got everything in these places. Our schools never looked like this when I was growing up. I sound old, eh? Jesus. But yeah, it's the truth. So the schools are really, really high class. They're world class. You have any curriculum that you want. So it's really up to you now to just do your homework and see where you want to place your kids. So you have lots of international schools. I wanted to throw that one in there because that's a big one for a lot of people that people ask me about is what's the school situation like? They want to move with kids. The DTV visa I'm on allows you to bring your spouse and allows you to bring your dependents as well. So again, another great visa for that purpose. If you are looking to move with your family, look into the Destination Thailand Visa. But yeah, those are my pros and cons as we are 3 months, going on 3 months in. Those are my pros and cons for life in Thailand, What do you think? What do you think? For me, Thailand has given me everything that I want, and I'm happy. I'm really happy, and I've just been kind of taking my time with adjusting, not doing too much, but still doing enough to kind of explore, have fun, kind of detox, and just put myself in mentally in the best possible position to move forward come January. And I'm just really excited for the possibilities. And there's a lot of things that I personally love about being not just in Thailand, but being in Asia especially in the field that I'm in. There's a lot of things that I'm seeing. There's a lot of areas where I'm learning. There's a lot of areas that I'm seeing things that I'm learning, and I'm like, yo, this is great because I can soak up all of this, and it just allows me to be better at what I do, but also to bring the information and the technology and the knowledge back to the Caribbean. And honestly, I've always felt like one of the biggest challenges with the Caribbean is that we don't have enough people that go out, leave the region, but then come back with their knowledge and is able to implement it. And again, that's a different conversation, right? But we definitely do need more people that are going out there, getting the global perspectives, and then bringing it back. So, again, it's just a perfect time for me to be here and just be a sponge. Be a sponge, soak up all the knowledge and information, so that way, whenever I decide to get back into the Caribbean, I'm at a much, much better place to really do some work. But then again, everything I do is remote, and I'm still working with Caribbean businesses even whilst I'm out here. So I'm still putting in work for the region even whilst I'm out here, which is pretty dope, right? But yeah, that's it for me on today's episode. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you want to follow me on social media, KERONROSE across all social media channels. I'm most active on LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it. You could reach out to me on these social media platforms. You could check out KarenRose.com to learn more about building your digital presence and monetizing your platforms. And then you could always check out the Digipreneur FM website to stay up to date on all things happening in the podcast. If you are listening to the episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, don't forget to rate the podcast, leave a review. The reviews help me grow the podcast across the world. And then if you listen to the podcast on YouTube, go ahead, like the podcast, drop a comment. All those things help, tremendously help. And it's always good to hear from you and connect with you. All right. That is it from me today, everybody. Go and enjoy your Saturday, enjoy your weekend, and I will be seeing you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next one. Take care.
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karan Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karan Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.